Hi everybody, today I'm reacting to my friends, the Rolling Creeper, Sonic 2, a Flaw in Development.
Sense. You might have known it today. I'm going to be talking about Sonic the Hedgehog 2, since you might have known that I earlier did my review of Sonic 1. Although, notably, a few interesting things have happened since the Sonic 1, since I filmed the Sonic 1 review. First of all, the Minecraft movies come out now, and it's good.
Yeah, it's okay.
That's my opinion. It's good. Let me just go grab it. But yeah, I got a PS1, so it's gonna be pretty cool. I don't have any PS1 games yet, but so don't expect any PS1 game reviews anytime soon. And so you might have noticed that I'm now sitting in my couch instead of on my chair, and that's because the chair is dead.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. I read holes. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's also notably the first anniversary of reviews. Yes, it's already been a year since I did my review of Dr. Mario on NES. And yeah, now a year later, I've done 10 reviews in a year. That's pretty good. But yeah, anyways, now I'm going to be talking about Sonic the Hedgehog 2. That's my 11th review. Development in history. So after Sonic 1 was released, Sega had a solidified mascot who would even compete with Mario. Sega had
It's a me, a Mario. Wait.
Actually gained relevance in the console industry, and Nintendo finally had true competition. And like literally, look at the Sega commercials. They literally said Genesis does what Nintendo like. God damn, at that point, just say fuck Nintendo. Just buy a Genesis.
Jeez.
It'll make you more Sigma. And so obviously, Sega wanted to follow up with their success with a sequel. Now, behind the scenes, Yuji Naka was actually annoyed at Sega of Japan because I don't really look up I need to look through the Wikipedia articles, but I don't know, Script just said it. Yuji Naka was annoyed at Sega of Japan, and then moved to American site at STI to help with Sonic 2, while the Japanese team over at Sega of Japan would work on a different Sonic game for the Sega CD. Okay, so Editor Creeper here, and so the reason...
Oh my gosh, he finally... Let's go.
Why Yuji Naka actually left Sega of Japan was because the American site offered him better wages and more creative...
He has his own little guy.
...freedom. So yeah, that's the actual reason. Since I was too lazy to look through the Wikipedia article earlier. And Sonic 2 itself would have a rather rough development. Okay, so this is me, but instead of it being the original May recording, this is me in June, because, well, put it simply, I actually wasn't originally going to do a section of the development myself. No, a good friend of mine on Discord named Nico was actually joining in for the review since he knows a lot about Sonic 2's development. However, he got really busy with schoolwork, and it's like, yeah, I know it's June, his school's probably different, but yeah. But I needed to get my fucking video out, because I mean, as you might have known, up to this point I've been uploading these reviews monthly, so, but because this review, honestly, for me it was also taking kind of long as well, but but he was so busy that he never got around to actually doing his segment. So after a while, I just kind of gave up trying to get him to do it, and I did it myself. So yeah, although I did look at his notes. I did copy and paste some of his notes while writing the script. Although I did read through it all and then rewrote a bit of it so it makes sense for the video, and added my own
Your own twist on it, I guess.
personal humor. That's it sounded weird. Oh my god.
Wow.
But yeah, I know y'all probably have been waiting. I think it's like maybe a bit under, at the time of recording this, it's like a bit under 2 months since the Sonic 1 review. And I know y'all needed to, and I know y'all are tired of waiting for me rolling reviews, so yeah, I had to kind of do this. But I'm sorry, Nico. Just
Yeah.
I'm not mad at you or anything. Like I know you're probably gonna slice my dick off. I already know you're probably gonna be really pissed at me. Yeah. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, because I mean, yeah, but yeah. So, anyways, I'm gonna actually now do the actual section. And there's a lot to go through, so it's time to rapid fire through the most notable ones, because I don't want this video to be 4 hours long. God damn it! It's already like actually me editing the rest of the video. It's over 30 minutes. So, damn. So there was this time travel mechanic which happened in these certain warp points, and there was a whopping 12 zones scrapped. That's more in the final game, which is pretty crazy. Most well known of these was the Hidden Palace Zone, which was almost completed, but for some reason it scrapped 3 months before the game's release. Like, why? The zone was nearly completed. Why scrap it? A good chunk of its layout was already completed, although Act 2 and Prototype started you in a wall, but you could just use debug mode, and then it's just Act 1 without any enemies or objects or rings or anything. And another zone that manifested itself into playable form was Wood Zone. My pants are a wood zone. This is basically a forest area which was meant to act as a present version of Casino Night Zone, I guess. Wood Zone is actually just this short level section that you can't even complete, and then Act 2 is literally you just fall to your death.
God.
Now, interestingly, Nico actually always interpreted this zone as Casino Night Zone being burnt down, and then nothing but a forest is being left over as a child before discovering what time travel actually was.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Speaking of Casino Night, it looks like this. I actually kind of like how it looks. Originally, the game was meant to be on South Island instead of West Side Island, and Green Hill was originally in the Nick Arcade prototype, although it was.
Oh God.
Yeah. And if you could make it all the way to the end of Act 3, you can then fight up a fucked up version of the Green Hill Zone boss where, Eggman, did you
that kind of looks like a missing note, but now that's Glitchman.
accidentally walked into Action 52 or something.
Glitchman.
This also kind of gives insight in proving that Sonic 2 was in fact built off of Sonic 1, which was speculated due to many sound effects such as 7E, which if you also listen to in Sonic 1, also means solve the audio. I don't really know why this is important, Nico. You kind of just put this in here. I mean already, like, the Nick Arcade build still had Sonic 1's music, and the level spec was literally identical. Like, the zonies are even the same. But anyways, next up is Genocide City Zone.
No wonder why it's called Genocide. And when he says genocide, Do 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 do.
No wonder it was called Genocide City. Everybody who goes here just dies. It's actually supposed to be called Cyber City, but some kind of mistranslation made it called Genocide City. The layout for one of the acts was apparently reused for Metropolis Act 3 until this actually got proven wrong with the actual layouts being shared. Oh my god, I don't even know anymore. Like, maybe I'm pretty sure the assets for this level were reused for the Machine and Sonic Spinball, but I don't even know anymore. I feel like I'm just talking out my ass at this point. You collect 100 rings and Death Egg starts playing. Drowning plays the options menu. Yeah, these are obviously prototypes, yet some of them actually got leaked out. And you can even actually find bootleg cards with Simon White prototype, which were actually made back in 1992. Later prototypes added more stuff, kicked out hidden palace in the wood zones and other unused shit. And then after the game became Sonic 2, Sonic 2 then released. End of this section. Back to the original recording I had. Sonic 2 was then released on November 24th, 1992, which was on a Tuesday, so we call it Sonic Tuesday. That's pretty funny, pretty
Sonic
fucking
Tuesday.
smart. And then they made a big fucking deal about the game, so yeah. Oh, there was the kind of funny fact that Sonic 2 had already come out on the Master System and Game Gear a bit earlier. So I don't know where they messed up on that, or why they decided to release Sonic 2 the Game Gear on Game Gear so early. I don't get it. My personal history with this game is basically the same with Sonic 1. Although, as you might have known, sometime earlier in 2024, I got myself a Sega Genesis. Now, when it came to the games I got early on, I mostly had the likes of Aladdin, Toy Story, and Pitfall. Now, I had asked my mom to let me get a copy of Sonic 1, although she would later save it for me for Christmas, so... I mean, I have it now, so you know what. I even asked her for Sonic 2, and she actually let me have it. So, yeah. And actually, opening it up, like, it even came with
the manual.
It even came with the manual. It's pretty cool. And now, here I am, doing my review of the game. But yeah, in the 90s, if you didn't have a Genesis because of Sonic 1, you'd probably want to get one now because of Sonic 2. Unless you're too much of a Nintendo fan to give a crap about Sega. Sonic 2, by itself, it was still a massive success, and it cemented Sega in the gaming industry until they made some really bad decisions. I am looking at you, Sega 32X. Again, talking about the box art, the Japanese box art is more of the same, but I do like this pose with Sonic and Tails. The American box art it's just the best box art in the series. Just Sonic Tails standing there, Robotnik in the background. Like, he looks kind of weird. I just like how he's massive and like yeah, he's the villain, and it just holding the giant tube. It just looks amazing. The only issue I actually have with this box art is just how it looks on my shelf.
Oh.
Why the fuck?
Now that is definitely annoying. I have that issue too, I think. Yes, I have that same issue. Yep, I have that same issue with Star Wars. Lego Star Wars 3 for the Xbox 360.
Fuck is the box code on the spine? It's just...
Why?
It's not really that big of a deal, but it bothers me. It just does. Now, the European box...
heard something. Hello, where's the audio? Okay, I'm messing up.
I'm looking at you, Sega. Boxer is more of the same, but I do like this pose with Sonic and Tails. The American box art is... I just actually have with this science to me. It just does. Now, the European box art actually got the American art for once, although I don't really like the yellow border on it, so... And the Canadian box art yet again uses the European box art. Now, the plot. After Sonic had defeated Robotnik the first time, the animals basically liked him. Then one day on this other island known as West Side Island, he noticed this fox being bullied, and then he bullied the bullies, and the fox named Miles Prower, or by the nickname everybody just calls him by Tails. He then learns that he can fly. The two then start noticing robots everywhere and less animals, and then they made the big realization that Dr. Robotnik has returned. And now he's trying to find the Chaos Emeralds to power his quote-unquote ultimate weapon, known as his Death Egg. The plot is good.
Death Star, Death Egg. Same thing happens. Seriously, what's with the Death stuff? Every time someone tries to make a Death something, it explodes.
And it definitely tries to expand on Sonic 1's, but it's a 7 out of 10. Okay, the graphics. So, first of all, this game does look really good. The game significantly ups the color compared to Sonic 1. Each level just looks a lot more detailed. As, like, all the levels,
Indiana Jones.
They use a lot more color, despite only using a couple colors. Some environments I don't really like the way they look, though, like Oil Ocean. And one thing that I also don't really like is some of the palettes used for the sprites. Like, the colors on the enemies isn't that great, and one of Sonic's running sprites has this weird bit of yellow on his shoe. Like, did Sonic get some mustard on his shoe or something? I don't know, maybe it's from all the chili dogs. Also, this is probably my least favorite Sonic sprite of the Genesis trilogy. Tries to improve on the Sonic 1 sprite, but it just feels unpolished. Despite being a lot more colorful, I just simply don't like the art style of Sonic 2 as much as Sonic 1. Some of the colors used aren't the greatest, and some things just look off. This is also a 7 out of 10. Presentation. This game's presentation is similar to the previous game, but now, the text is slanted. What, it just looks cool, okay? Sonic 2 also has an options menu, because now on the title screen you can select 1 player, 2 player, and there's also an options menu, although I kind of hate that it's not displayed on the title screen unless you scroll down to it. Although the menu itself looks pretty good. And also, and I do kind of like the new title cards. They go for a black screen with a freaking circle, and they put like Times New Roman font to like having these wacky, colorful shapes, with a really wacky font. And the presentation overall is an 8 out of 10. I mean, now the music. The music here is pretty good, but there isn't as much at 6 sound, and I don't like Oil Ocean or Metropolis's themes. However, I do like Emerald Hill's theme and the unused Hidden Palace's theme as...
Wait, how would Sonic actually wear headphones like that? On the side, or his ears on top? I just... What does Sonic even have ears?
Pretty good. And also the levels for the 2-player modes they also sound pretty good. And especially 2-player Mystic Caves. I do like that one. Now that is that one song that just kind of exists. Like, you barely hear it for like 5 seconds, but you just listen to it, it's kind of funky sounding. Now, when it comes to a boss theme, I'd say that it's probably my favorite boss theme in the series. The only thing maybe beating it is just a couple of boss themes in Knuckles Chaotix, but yeah, there's a lot of good songs, so I'd say it's an 8 out of 10. Now, the gameplay. This game plays amazingly. Controller physics are basically the same as Sonic 1's, but better, and you can go a lot faster in Sonic 2. And the best addition to a series by far, the spin dash. Hold the down button, mash the buttons, then zoom off in your ball form. Sonic 1 might have not had the spin dash and the level design was made around that, but with Sonic 2 having the spin dash, the level design has better pacing and flow. Just look at Emerald Hill, it has tons of loops and corkscrews everywhere, because the momentum is better. Also, if you have Tails, which is the default setting for Sonic to have Tails with him, he will just follow you around, which he can hurt enemies, collect rings, hit bosses, and steal your air bubbles. Asshole. Also, if you plug in a second controller into your Genesis, or whatever console you're playing on, you can control Tails, which for some bosses you can just use a second controller to cheese these bosses. However, the camera only follows Sonic, so if your Tails in single player mode, be prepared to off-screen yourself a lot. And if you go too far off-screen, Tails will then respawn to Sonic's location. In the options menu, you can also change it to the first player's Tails. He plays the same as Sonic with a smaller hitbox. Yeah, you can't fly yet, but you can play as him, I guess. Also, you can also play as Sonic alone, which is mostly just helpful for the special stages. More on those later. And no, you cannot play as Tails with Sonic as the second player. This game notably has a 2-player multiplayer mode, in which you race the other player through the 2 acts of either Emerald Hill, Xeno Knight, or Mystic Cave, as well as a special stage. Now, the game's rings mechanic, it just works the exact same, and all the item boxes are the same. Although there is some extra item boxes in the 2-player mode. Notably, the swap box, which swaps the locations of Sonic and Tails, and there's also Robotnik box is finally implemented, and he's not blue like Sonic 1 sprite. Oh, and honestly, if you look at it, it's pretty obvious what it does. It hurts you. Also, I didn't really mention this yet, but yeah, the 2-player mode squishes the screen weirdly. Although it's kind of just impressive that they could even do this. Now, going for the zones, Emerald Hill, it's still a fast-paced level with tons of slopes, loops, and corkscrews to get a lot of momentum, and plenty of tunnels to find secrets. So, hey, what's down here? Why the fuck is there a bottomless pit here? It's the only one in Emerald Hill too, so it's kind of weird that this is here in the first place. Chemical Plant is kind of overrated in my opinion. I've just seen way too much of this, so.
Overrated or underrated?
There's multiple of these long tubes to gain speed on, and the rest of it's okay blows. The enemies are annoying, these platforms are also kind of annoying. And then there's the infamous water section, but you can skip it by going through this sequence.
Makes sense.
Now, Aquatic Room, and I'd say is actually a pretty good water level, which I like because most of the water can be skipped. So yeah, I like a water level because I don't have to go in the water.
Yeah.
Also, I just hate these guys that come out of the walls. They're kind of stupid. Xeno Knight notably has barely any enemies. And there's a lot of these teleporters and blocks and these pinball tables with slot machines, which can randomly give you either nothing, a couple rings, a ton of rings, or if you get the Robotniks, you can lose some rings. Yeah, you either get a gambling addiction from this or Luigi's Casino.
My god.
Hilltop. Yeah, despite looking like Emerald Hill but blue,
Yeah?
See all these little things on the hallway here?
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to pick them up when you go back. There's a lot of little stuff in there. No, no, no. Come here.
Just take your time. Back. Shoot. Anyways, time to fix.
Prediction from this or Luigi's Casino. Hilltop. Despite looking like Emerald Hill, but blue, it actually plays like a combination of marble and starlight. It has the occasional fast-paced sections and you saw of starlight, but the lava and silver sections of marble. And it's an alright zone. Mystic Cave is another good zone, minus these green things that try to crush you and these stupid lightning bugs. Those are the switches you need to grab to progress on certain paths. There's also this one where if you don't activate the bridge and accidentally miss the switch, you just fall into the pit. There's no way out of this, so just wait until you die and hope you don't miss again. Son of a bitch. Oil Ocean sucks. There's these stupid spikes, stupid enemies, stupid oil, stupid platforms. This zone's colors just look mediocre. And again, I don't like Oil Ocean's music. Well, now we've made it to a worst of the worst. Yes, that's right.
What?
Metropolis Zone. This zone fucking sucks. First of all, I don't like the way this zone looks. Second, I don't like the music that much. Third, I don't like these screw platforms. Fourth, the slicers. These fuckers are annoying little assholes, and if you come face to face with one, well, I hope you didn't plan on going to any special stages here, and just goddamn, I hate these guys, okay? Fifth, the shell crackers, which seem impossible to hit because they're stupid arms and stupid hitboxes. And some of these guys are placed in kind of dickish spots. Sixth, the astronauts. Like, you'll be going up one of these screws and then one kind of just comes out, gives you a good old middle finger, and then you have to go backtrack just so that the screw will come down. And probably the worst offense of the Metropolis Zone is the fact that it has free acts. You see, in Sonic 2, the zones were made a bit shorter, now only having 2 acts instead of 3. For some reason, they just needed to add an extra act to the worst level in the game. Why not actually add the extra act to Emerald Hill? I wish that zone was a bit longer, but why the worst zone in the game? It's stupid. I mean, sure, the zone isn't as bad as Brain Act 3, but it's definitely up there. Also, fuck the slicers. Sky Chase has you on Tails' plane, which will follow your position pretty well unless you charge up a spin dash and you go too fast and the plane won't keep up, so you fall off and die. Besides that, it's just a boring auto-scroller with nothing really to say. Wing Fortress starts with Tails getting shot down while you're jumping on said Wing Fortress. And this level is definitely a bit harder than the rest. Well, maybe besides Metropolis. And it's mostly due to the constant fear of the pit below. There is this infamous section, and while everybody remembers how some kind of Johnny E goes through the freaking fan, damage boost through the fan to skip parts of the level, I prefer to do this other skip where you jump into through this fan. Jeez. And it also lets you get this one-up. And it also bypasses the bottom part of the level. Speaking of one-ups, you can actually get 5 in this level. First you can get 200 rings for it, then there's this one up here, then this one you kind of have to do some exploration for, and then the final one in the cockpit right after boss. Talking about the rest of the level.
Yes. Sorry. Part of the job of taking care of my grandma.
Well, there's a section where you grab blocks to make it across the gap. Been annoying disappearing platformers. Been these launcher things, which everybody but me has a skill issue with. Seriously, it seems like everybody steps on this and falls to her death, but I have never had an issue with this, so I don't know what the fuck you all are doing wrong. Yeah, after a boss, Sonic and sees Robotnik escape, but then Tails comes back to life with a booster on his plane. Then the two eventually catch up to Robotnik. Sonic jumps onto Robotnik's plane, somehow is able to grab onto a plane without being blown off. What the fuck? And then he goes to space where he can somehow breathe. Yeah, video game logic.
Yep.
And then we arrive at Death Egg, which is just the two final bosses. But the gameplay itself is overall pretty fun, and it's an 8 out of 10. Now, the bosses. Just like with Sonic 1, these bosses try to utilize the stage gimmicks. However, they're still kind of easy. The Emerald Hill boss just goes back and forth. Chemical Plant can be frustrating with the flipping platforms. Aquatic Rune has a fun boss where you try to jump up to the arrows to hit Robotnik. And Casino Knight's also fun, though Hilltop, Mystic Cave, and Ocean bosses aren't really good. And then the Metropolis boss must be about damage boosting or cheesing it with the second player. Wing Fortress's boss is alright, trying to ride on these spike platforms to hit the laser. Silver Sonic has a complicated pattern, but most of it can be cheesed by spin dashing at the start. After that, we find Robotnik and then chase him down into his Death Egg robot, which is easily the hardest boss in the game. Just like last time, you have no rings, and this boss can be pretty tricky. First attack he does is Walking Forward, where you can get hits in. If you time it right, he'll go into the air, and when he crashes down, he'll then try to hit you with his spiky fist. But you can run away and then get hit it. Then goes into the air again, and then the pattern repeats. It is very tricky to get hits in with the spikes on his hand, but once you get the pattern down, it's not that bad. Unless for some reason you jump at the wrong time when he's crashing down and somehow go through his hitbox. What the fuck? Bosses overall are a 7 out of 10. They're definitely a bit of an improvement over Sonic 1. Now, the ending is that after Sonic beats the Death Egg robot, the Death Egg starts exploding, and then Sonic gets the fuck out of there. Then the animals look up at the explosion, and Tails just kinda gets worried about Sonic. Then some birds tell him that Sonic is falling from the sky, so he gets in his plane and... And that was Sonic 2. Now, this ending, it's just amazing. The music and just atmosphere here, it's amazing. It's peak cinema. It's a 10 out of 10.
That's like a 10 out of 10 in a review.
Extras and completion. Just like last time, you have the special stages, but the way you get to them is different. Instead of finishing a level with 50 rings, you just get the 50 rings and then go to a checkpoint. When you go to a checkpoint, you then just jump into this ring of sparkles. This brings us to the half pipe, the most overused special stage in the series. This has going down a, half pipe, collecting rings and avoiding bombs. The main goal here is to collect the required amount of rings before the end of the section. However, getting these rings requires a ton of memorization, especially whenever the rings are on the top of the half pipe, or a circle of bombs comes out of seemingly nowhere, especially right after half pipe changes angle. Seriously, I hate it when it changes the camera angle. However, I am a bit better because I played these a lot
because I've attempted these a lot, so I'm sort of decent at these. Also, if you have Tails with you, just give up. He follows you, and he can help you get rings, but his movement's slightly delayed from you. So if you dodge something right before it hits you, Tails probably will just get hit anyways and fuck you over. But if you have a second player, he can control Tails, but then both players need to know his special stages. For Tails, these are still difficult, but over time, they have gotten a bit easier. And then once you get all 7 of the emeralds, you then get Supersonic, which it's a good reward. He's basically invincible besides the obvious falling in pits or getting crushed. And yeah, the pit is now worse because yeah, you're invincible. But seriously, your special stages can go fuck themselves, especially if you fuck up right before getting an emerald, because the game literally puts it in front of you, and it just says, not enough rings, motherfucker. It's like, it's right fucking there, shut the fuck up, give me my damn piss rock so I can become piss-colored Sonic and be invincible and beat up Robotnik and, yeah. Supersonic is basically Sonic, but if you grab 50 rings and jump, you turn into Supersonic. He can jump higher, run way faster, and again, is invincible. However, sometimes getting the 50 rings to turn super can be a bit annoying, especially in zones like Metropolis. Also, while you're super, this song plays and it gets annoying. While you're super, your ring counter slowly goes down. If it reaches 0, you go back to normal and you have to collect the 50 rings again. However, just because your rings deplete doesn't mean collecting rings won't make you last longer. So yeah, you can collect rings to make to elongate your supersonic period. So yeah, you can continue collecting rings to make your supersonic last more. Now imagine if Supersonic was in Sonic Chaos, like, it probably lasts forever given how that game just likes to just put rows of ring boxes everywhere. But Tails has no super form for some reason, and I don't like the good ending as much as the normal ending. But if I want to get Supersonic, I'm just going to put in the code on the level select. I'm usually not going for them piss rocks. But yeah, that's just what I'm calling the Chaos Emeralds now. I'm just calling them piss rocks. Also, you can't use Supersonic against the final boss normally, and there's nothing really added for getting Supersonic. And the bosses become absolute jokes, even though they kind of already were. And Supersonic's coding itself is it's kind of just held together with band-aids and scotch tape. Like, some of his sprites are just normal sprites but yellow, and you can sometimes clip into walls, soft locked at the end of levels. Like, that's pretty funny. It's kind of funny just to do stupid shit like this. And on a rare occasion, you can accidentally glitch him so that he stopped being invincible, which I don't really get it. Overall, extras and completion is a 5 out of 10. While Supersonic's a good reward, the way you get him is way too arbitrary. This ends up with Sonic 2 getting a 60.5 out of 80 or a 75.6%. Now, this game is a really good game, but it has some issues. Comparing Sonic 2 to Sonic 1, the improvements are very good, but I find Sonic 2 to overall lack the polish that Sonic 1 had. Sonic 2 has higher highs, yes, but it also has lower lows. As much as I hate Scrap Brain Act 3, at least there is a shortcut to pretty much skip the level. There's no way around Whale Ocean or Metropolis here. So while Sonic 2 is a better game, I prefer Sonic 1, so I'll play Sonic 2 right next to Sonic 1. Yeah, Sonic 2 is just, it's just a lot more flawed than Sonic 1. And I mean, flaws aren't the worst thing in the world. I call Mega Man 3 one of my favorite games of all time, despite that game having extremely obvious flaws. Now, despite it not being the most polished, I would recommend this game to like anyone really. Now I don't play 2 as much as 1, but both games are pretty fun. If you have a Genesis, this game is pretty cheap, and the game has been released almost as much as Sonic 1.
Yeah.
Just no shitty Game Boy Advance ports this time. Again, there's the mobile port in Sonic Origins, which have the enhancements that Sonic 1 got. Plus, Tails can now fly, and the special stages are a bit better now that they're actually fully rendered instead of the original shit.
Yeah.
Although, if you have a copy of Sonic and Knuckles, you can actually attach Sonic 2 to it, and then you can play as Knuckles in Sonic 2. He gets his glide and climb, and plus he keeps his rings at checkpoints, and the special stages themselves are just much easier as him for some reason. Like, I had little to no trouble getting all of the emeralds as him. And yes, he does have a super form. Although, in the special stages, his arms are skin colored for some reason, which is kind of weird. I'm sorry I pointed out. I mean, it's kind of like pointing out Yoshi having orange arms in Mario World.
Yeah.
You usually don't notice it until it's brought up. It's like it's this weird Mandela effect.
Yeah.
That fake robot is a pain in the ass as Knuckles, though, as he has a slightly shorter jump in Sonic, so you have to hit him at very specific times or else you'll die. Like, seriously, on one playthrough I did a long time ago, I went to a Death Egg robot with 30 lives, and somehow I fucking game over to him. So, yeah, I prefer to play for Sonic 2 as Sonic, because the Death Egg robot's actually beatable, a lot more beatable as him. So overall, Sonic 2 as a whole, it's a pretty good game, and it does definitely make an improvement over Sonic 1. However, it lacks the polish that Sonic 1 had. Well, now that I'm done talking about Sonic 2, it's time to talk about Sonic. Hey, creeper.
Oh no.
Botnik. So, you're done with Sonic 2 now.
Oh no, he's got a voice up to do Mean Machine.
Yeah, why? I don't plan on talking about Mean Machine anytime soon. No, I don't want you to talk about my amazing game. I am just here to... Hey, give that back. I need that for the next review. No. Hey, creeper, I'm gonna beat you. Creeper, I don't think you were expecting me to do fish. Hey, creeper. Wait. I just played through Sonic 2. I should know how to beat this. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Ha ha ha, you may have beaten me, but you will never escape from me. Cause I got my wing fortress zone. Oh no, he's gonna escape into his wing fortress zone. Hey, I grabbed onto it.
Oh my god.
Oh no, it's Silver Sonic. Trying to catch me. Alright, Botnik, it's the end of the road. Luckily, I have a secret weapon
where is it? Robotnik, you're seriously telling me that you chased me all the way into your death egg, all the way here, and you don't even have a proper weapon to defeat me? Well, if Rolling Creeper had more cardboard, I could probably have done something better. I might not have a death egg robot, but I have the next best thing. Oh no, what is this gonna be? Sail out my new weapon. The Egg HVC001. You gotta be joking. Your final boss is the freaking chicken walker from CD. Indeed it is.
Reaper just...
No, can't be. Yeah, I'm gonna be taking this back. Anyways, now that I have this...
I have one question. Why is there an E-Tank in your Death Egg, Eggman?
back, I think it's time to get it out of here. And about time too, because I kind of see that this place is sort of starting to explode. I've rigged a bomb to explode in here. Luckily, I still have my Eggmobile, so I'm gonna escape for now. Well, in that case, I'm gonna get out. Okay, well, now that I have this back, well, this is actually what we're gonna be talking about next, so. And thanks for watching if you watched this all the way to the end. This review obviously has a lot of effort put into it, considering the whole Robotnik skit. So, yeah, I definitely would consider liking and subscribing, but don't turn the notifications on because I have this shit post a lot. And if you want to, you can join my Discord server. I'm trying to revive it and maybe make it less dead, but when we do talk on there, it's usually some funny shit. Yeah, anyways, next time we're going to be talking about Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles. Now, yes, I am going to address why I'm not going to be talking about Sonic CD. And also, luckily now we're approaching the summer, so now I don't have to worry about school. I basically have a lot of extra time on my hands to make these reviews. So, yeah, I plan on putting out a good number of reviews during this summer. A lot more than last summer, because last summer I was going to my grandparents' house a lot during that summer, and then like the first half of the summer I wasn't even starting to make reviews because it was before I got my crow.
And I think that could be it for me after this.
Chromebook, but now I have everything I need to make reviews. I'm probably going to be here for most of the summer. So yeah, lots of time to make reviews. So yeah, unless I happen to procrastinate a lot. I do tend to do that. Rolling Creeper, stop procrastinating. But yeah, I mean, through this summer, I'm definitely going to upload a decent amount, like a lot more than the occasional review from every 3 weeks to a month that you probably expected from now.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I know this one took a bit longer, but again, that was because of the whole Sonic versus the whole scene of me beating Robotnik.
I'm probably not gonna do that stuff as much, or I don't know. For now, I'm not gonna do that as much, but who knows? Maybe in the future. But yeah, prepare to have a bit more of my videos out. Since I have more time on my hands, and then once the summer's over, then the upload schedule will probably return to normal, I think. Who knows, maybe the algorithm will like me making my videos more often. And yeah, if you want to check out my Sonic 1 review, you definitely should. And anyways, I'm gonna go for now, and I'll see y'all next time with Sonic 3.
Yep. That's gotta be it for me too. So, bye for now. Peace for now. But